Yo, Adam Saxon with Guy in a Cube, and in this video, I'm going to show you a couple of different ways that you can have dynamic accesses in your charts in Power BI. Stay tuned. If you're finding us for the first time, be sure to hit that subscribe button to stay up to date with all the videos from both Patrick and myself. All right, dynamic access. We actually had a question on this on our live stream from Tom G. He was just asking, look, I've got a calendar hierarchy. I want to be able to have users switch those dynamically from an access in a chart. Is that even possible from a slicer? They knew they could do the hierarchy in the visual itself, but they didn't want to go through that. And I'm like, yeah, of course it's possible. And so I showed this in the stream. People seem to like it, so I decided to do a video on it. All right. Enough all this talking, let's head over to my machine and see what's going on. The first approach is really about buttons, selections, bookmarks. I did a bunch of videos on this. I put a playlist together. You should see that floating around the top, or I'll have that down in the description below. But buttons, selections, and bookmarks can really help you to drive that app-like experience. Really what we've got going on here is this visual is actually in place 3 different times for the 3 different levels that I want. And then I'm just showing and hiding those based on the button that they select. So month is the default here. But if I want to go to year, I can go to year. If I want to go to quarter, I can go to quarter. And if I want to go to month, I can go to month. Easy peasy. So I can give that kind of app-like experience, give users the selections on what they want to do, and then I can have the visuals displayed or hidden. The thing to remember with this, though, is you've got to configure all 3 of those visuals, and you got to have the buttons and then also set up the bookmarks. Now, if you make a change to one of those visuals, you got to change all 3 and you got to swap them in and out to get those changes in place. So you got to think about the management aspect of it, but this is pretty easy to set up. There's no code required, not a lot of magic. So, well, I mean, there's a lot of magic actually, but you know, that's approach number 1. Let's continue. Approach number 2. This is actually something Patrick did a video on a while back for how to do dynamic access. And also Casper de Jong did a blog post as well, where he walked through this approach as well. There's other ways to do this in addition to what Casper called out or what Patrick called out. A lot of this is just how do you want to deal with the DAX that's implemented. So the way that this starts is I've got this table switch. What you have to do is kind of flatten out the options that you want to deal with. So if I go to the table here, go down to table switch, and what I'm doing is I'm actually pulling all of the unique values for year, quarter, and month, and I'm building out a table that's flattened that out. Now the challenge here is if you've got a lot of items that you're going to go through, this could bloat your model a little bit. So just be mindful of that and understand the data that you're working with, because that may impact how you go about doing this. So just know that we've got to create this disconnected table that's got these value selections, because that's going to drive the visual and it's going to drive the slicer itself. The other thing that I did is the actual measure that I'm going to use in the visual itself is based on the selection that we did. That is going to drive what the actual values are that are represented. If I chose year, then it's going to actually go get the items and filter my total sales amount by year or by quarter or by month. And then putting that all together in the visual, we can see the visual itself is actually using the values as that table value measure that I created, and the access is the value field from my table switch. And so you can change the names of these, but that allows me to actually use the slicer to drive the different items. This approach works, but you saw what I had to do, right? So I created an actual calculated table that's driving all of that. It doesn't have to be a calculated table. You could create this in the source. So if you've got a SQL server of some kind, you could have a view that does all that for you. That actually potentially helps with refresh performance, because we're not having to generate that calculated table. But then I also had to create that measure, which goes off of that disconnected table to drive the values of the chart itself. So there's some overhead there, and you've got to understand DAX to do it. So I would say that this is the most complex option that you have, but it is an option. I got another option for you too. Look, I don't even have a slicer. I just have a visual. What is up with this? And it's just my regular total sales amount measure, and I'm just pulling the year column from the access. Wait a second. He said he wanted a slicer to drive this. How is that? I've only got the year column in there. Like, how does that? In order to really see this one, we've got to go to the service. So if we go to the Power BI service, I'm going to go to my workspace, and in there, I've got my dynamic access report. and we'll see the approaches that we had before. Again, year, quarter, month, great. So if we go to approach 3, what I'm doing here is there's an option for personalized visuals. What we can do here is you'll see this little icon on the header, the visual header, which allows me to personalize this visual. If I select that, we'll see that the axis is year, my values is total sales amount. And that's what we defined inside of Power BI Desktop. But if I just click right here, I can change this to month. And I can go to quarter. And I can go to year. That's bananas. So now I can use personalized visuals to actually allow the users to select what they want to select. Don't have to mess around with bookmark selections and buttons. And I don't have to write all of this complicated DAX that may actually impact performance. I can just use personalized visuals. Maybe there's a little education to let them know that it's there, but yeah. When I showed this on the live stream, there were a lot of folks that was like, wait, what was that? A lot of people don't know about it, but this is a great option for you. I've actually got a video, it's linked above, down in the description below. Patrick did this about personalized visuals itself, how to set it up, and how to actually create certain extra things, which I want to bring you to now also. So I've got an item here that is approach 3+. We've got our personalized visual here, but one thing you noticed here is that I've got every table here, so people can go and choose whatever they want. And that may be the experience that you want to do, but let's assume in this case that you're like, look, I only want them to be able to select the calendar items. I don't want them to go around and do all sorts of crazy things. So I'm going to go to 3+ here. Let's go to personalized visuals. And what we'll see here is when I click on access, I only have my calendar table and my internet sales. I don't have anything else. Let's say I want to go to month, and then I can come down to my values, and then I only have my measures that are available in my fact table, which is great. So I could say total freight. Bam, there we go. This is what's using something called perspectives. And I actually had to create the perspective inside of Tabular Editor. The video I called out from Patrick, he walks through how to actually do this. Let me jump back to Power BI Desktop and just show a few things. First off, if you want to take advantage of personalized visuals, there's a couple things you have to do. In Power BI Desktop, you could do this under options. If we come down to report settings for the current file, scroll down, you'll see this personalized visuals where you can allow report users to use personalized visuals. So that's up to you. You can also do this from a page perspective as well if it's enabled. So if you have pages you don't want to do that, you can disable that. Also, once you're in the service as well, if we go into the settings of the report, you can optionally turn it on here. There's a personalized visual option we can toggle on and off for that report. So those are different ways you can enable or disable that feature. The other thing from a perspective is on my approach 3+ tab, if we just select the page and we go to the settings for the page, under this personalized visual option, this is where you can select the perspective that you want for the page. Just be aware it's a page level setting, so you can't do that per visual. So just be aware of that. All right, there you go. A couple options that you can drive dynamic access selection in your report for your users. Bananas. Let me know in the comments below what you think. Do you have other options that you use to help drive that experience? Are you using some of the options that I already showed? Let me know. If you like this video, be sure to give it a big thumbs up, smash it if you so desire. If it's your first time here, hit that subscribe button. And as always, from both Patrick and myself, thank you so much for watching. Keep being awesome, and we'll see you in the next video.